What's up, party people? Podcasting from the land of the rising sun. This is Dark Cloud Podcast, here to let you know that every dark cloud has a silver lining. And I'm your host, D.L. Hayes. Welcome to episode 9, entitled Living My Best Life in Japan. I am so excited to introduce my first guest on the show, but really, he's not a guest at all because he's been here in the backgrounds, behind the scenes, as my editor and motivator, and much more. None other than Mr. Hayes himself, a.k.a. Apollo.
Hey, what's up, party people at Dark Cloud Podcast? Glad to be with you today. Just thank you guys for your constant love and support, allowing us to share our lives and share our views with you guys. Just thank you for the opportunity. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us on this topic. I'm really happy that you're here and just super excited. So, the thing that brought us to this topic, when I go live on Thursdays at 5 p.m., if you have not checked me out, please do so. Every Thursday, 5 p.m., I have some really exciting stuff coming up in the near future on the lives. So, on my lives, the past two I've done have been AMA style, which is Ask Me Anything. And people oftentimes ask me what life is like in Japan, how is it different, and all these questions surrounding us living in Japan. So I figured, why not do an entire episode on the topic to answer some of those questions. So to get started, I just want to go over our top 5 things that we love about Japan. So Apollo, you can go first. What are your top 5 things that you love about Japan?
Alrighty, I'm just going to start from number 5 and work my way up to number 1. The very first thing is that it's very clean. You don't see trash on the streets. You very rarely see litter on the ground, and if you do see it, it's not there for very long. Everyone here has a sense of responsibility, and I believe that it actually starts with folks in grade school. The grade school students are responsible for cleaning their own school to teach them responsibility and give them a connection to their community. And so out and about, when there's trash on the street, people stop and pick it up and put it in the appropriate places.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. The way the trash system and recycling system is set up here, it's designated areas along the streets, like everywhere where the trash goes, and people are dedicated to putting the trash in the proper place.
And so that brings me to my number 4, the attention to detail. They pay attention to everything. For everything that there's a potential problem, they thought about it. Every room in our mansion, which is just a really big apartment, has its own separate AC unit. So for people that like it cold, you can have it cold in the room that you're in. If you want it warm, you can have it warm in the room that you're in. The attention to detail is immaculate, and it makes things very, very easy and very, very convenient. All the way from color coding for different kind of meats, because I can't read kanji or the traditional Japanese writing. So if I'm not using Google Translate, using the color-coded options on food so I know exactly what it is that I'm selecting helps. Also, pictures. If I wanted beef and there's a picture of a cow's head, a cartoon cow, I know that I'm getting beef. If there's a cartoon chicken, I know that I'm getting chicken. If there's a fish, I know that I'm getting fish. So just the little things to help make life easy and convenient, even for the people that aren't from here, just really, really goes a long way.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree. And I think because of their attention to detail and they think things out so much, it makes things just more efficient and effective. And you conserve a lot too. So all those things add into the point of attention to detail.
And so everything kind of goes hand in hand. So for my number 3, it's the customer service.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Imagine being in a place that had Chick-fil-A customer service everywhere.
Everywhere. All the time.
Everywhere. I mean, even at McDonald's, you start at the drive-thru, you place your order. By the time you drive around to the window, your food is coming out. You hand them your money, your card, and your drink and whatnot comes back with the card, and you're gone. 2 minutes in the drive-thru. If you go into a store and you have a question, they listen to you very intently, and if there's something that they have to go get or go check away from you, they'll ask you to wait where you are and literally break out into a full sprint. If you ever visit Japan, don't let that freak you out. It's just how they want to take care of you. They want to be fast. They want to be swift. But what blew my mind even more, I'm a big guy. I love to eat. I love to eat out. So when I get good service back in the States, I reward my server with a healthy tip. And that's actually a taboo thing here. They want their service above all to stand out, and they want you to come back. So they pay their workers well, where they don't need to live or survive off of tips. And in turn, you get the best service possible.
The best.
Like I said, they sprint. Everybody's rocking Nikes, getting to where they need to be to give you exactly what it is that you need. And if they can't, they're so apologetic about it and remorseful. They really want to help.
Yes, and you didn't really believe me on that at first when I told you that they'll just take off running. They'll tell you to wait. And if they can't say it in English, they just motion you to stay where you're at. And they just run. Like, they literally take off in a full sprint to the back or wherever they're going. And you didn't believe me about the McDonald's thing either. No. Like, we ordered the food. I was like, watch. By the time we get to the window, the drink is going to be ready. And then when we finish paying, the food is going to be there super quick. And it was. And we spent a total of like 3 minutes at McDonald's. That's the craziest thing ever.
Which almost never happens.
Never.
And the ice cream machine is never down.
The ice cream machine always works. I always get an Oreo blast when I go there. Is it called an Oreo blast?
Yes.
Yeah. I always get an Oreo blast when I go there. Wait, you sure? It's called an Oreo blast?
Yeah.
Why does that not sound right? No, it's not. Blast is Sonic. It's an Oreo McFlurry.
I'm sorry. I used to work at Sonic.
I know.
So that, it throws me off.
Okay.
So my number 2 is the inclusiveness that's here in Japan. Japan has a very unique dynamic. They hold on to and preserve all of their traditional ways. So as modern as the cities look, you see the skyscrapers, you see the tall apartment buildings, you see flashing neon lights, and then all of a sudden you see a traditional temple. And they're very neat to look at. And even in those, there's a lot of detail, but they're there. To see people in kimonos for special situations like weddings or some kind of celebrations, you have all of those around. But the thing that really makes it stand out is that they really embrace other cultures. And I mean, you can look things up online. You see the goth and the emo kids, running around. You see the guys that embrace the hip hop urban culture that we have back in the States. You see it all, and none of it's looked down upon. You never see. It's so much love, and for every subtopic, there's a group of people that really, really love it and that are fanatics about it. And so you can really find your niche here. And so while all of that is here and it's infused into the culture, it doesn't disrupt their tradition. And so, America represents itself as a melting pot, but here it's more like a chunky beef stew. All the parts are working together and they're held by, the gravy, one thing that's holding them all together, but each part is recognizable. You recognize the carrots from the potatoes, from the peas, from the beef itself. And it all works together harmoniously. Which leads me to my number one thing that I love about Japan, and it's the tranquility of this place. It is very, very peaceful here. Back home in the States, everyone seems to be in a rush. Everyone seems to be anxious or angry, agitated, all the time. And as a person that is sensitive to the way that others feel, I really pick up on that vibe a lot. So once I got here, or actually visited here the very first time, it's one of the very first things that I noticed. I could tell that people felt safe, that people felt secure, and just the way that they moved around. And it was definitely an emotional experience because in the U.S., as a black male, I walk around on guard a lot. I'm always conscious of where I am, who's around me, what's going on, and I have to govern myself accordingly. And so to be in a place where I didn't have to do it was definitely relieving. And so on the second visit, once I knew what to expect, I was actually able to kind of get my feet wet a little bit more and enjoy myself, and really take in the sights and the culture, and everything that was going on around me. And when I left the second time and came back to the States, I made a promise and I said, the next time that I step foot in Japan, it won't be to visit, it'll be to live. And true to that, I made my move. And so just being in a place where, one, everybody minds their own business.
That's important.
I mean, people mind their business, and they are helpful when you ask for it. But it makes everything so much more relaxed. That sense of urgency of having to get everything done, be perfect, it almost eliminated it, to the point where my family, when I FaceTime them, look at me and say, "Oh my gosh, like, you look so relieved. You look so happy. Your skin looks marvelous. What's going on? And it's like that anxiety, that stress, that daily hustle and bustle that you have to go through on a daily basis back in the U.S. is gone.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's so peaceful here, and it was very weird at first, and it took some adjusting, to that, because we're used to a certain lifestyle, living a certain way, living on guard, really, and just being super aware of your surroundings. So I know for me, adjusting to that was a little tricky and hard, because it's like you're used to, I don't want to say looking over your shoulder, but you're just used to being a certain way and thinking a certain way. But here, because of the way the culture, the atmosphere and everything is, you don't necessarily have to do that. So I am going to give you my top 5 things that I love about Japan. For me, number 5 would be the food.
Boom.
The food is really good. Like, I love the food. The ramen is good. The street food here is also good.
Yakitori, chicken on a stick.
Chicken on a stick. I never knew, 1, that chicken on a stick was so good. 2, that it was so many different forms of chicken on a stick. Because there's yakitori, there's karage. You can get karage on a stick, which is fried chicken on a stick. And yakitori, what would you say yakitori is?
It's grilled chicken and grilled onions, but like they do everything off the chicken. So they've got the skins on one stick, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, chicken skin!" But when it's grilled and they dip it in this sauce, like, I don't know what it is. It's almost like a teriyaki sauce. It is the most marvelous thing, and they do it to order, so it's always fresh. That's one thing about food here in Japan. They are so prideful in getting you fresh food, to the point we went to one restaurant and someone ordered sea bass, and the sea bass